Good morning. I'm Mayanne Nelson, Communications Director for the Polk County Board of County Commissioners, and my guest this morning here on PGTV is Todd Bond. Todd is the Budget Officer for the Polk County Board of County Commissioners, and he's probably one of the happiest people right now in all of Bartow. Todd, first of all, congratulations for passing a budget on Monday night with the public hearing and the commissioners, and thank you very much for all the work that your team did.
Oh, thank you, Mayanne. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's always a little bit of a relief when you get past the final public hearing, the board approves the budget, and you're able to start focusing on the next round. So,
well, tell me, it's a $1.2 billion budget with a slight increase from last year.
Yeah, very slight. You could almost call it status quo. Not much of an increase, but it is $1.26 billion, and it's a large budget. We have over 50 different funds. Revenue sources that come in into different funds, and we fund multiple things from transportation, solid waste, utilities.
Well, tell me, Todd, about a month ago, I'm a property owner.
Sure.
I got a trim notice.
Yes.
Truth in millage notice.
Yes.
From the county appraiser to tell me what anticipated my taxes might be for next year and what it was going to.
Yes.
Any difference between what my trim notice says and the budget we passed last night?
No,
Monday night?
No, the budget that was passed Monday night was exactly what was advertised on the trim notice. The trim notices can be a little confusing because they have 4 different columns and they try and explain what what the changes would be. But in reality, what the board passed last night is the same millage rate that they've had since fiscal year 07-08. With the exception of one new millage rate for the Rancho Bonito area, just a small portion of the county in the northwest portion of the county. So everything else really has remained the same as far as what the board has control over. The millage rate for the county has remained the same since 07-08.
The county does a pretty good job of managing our money.
Yes, I think so.
Now, we talked about all of those 50 different funds, and we sometimes narrow in on the general fund because a lot of the social services things come out of that budget, and a lot of the needs to fund the county in offices like communications, like ours.
Yes.
But the big part of the budget actually deals with something called CIP. What is CIP?
Yes. CIP stands for Capital Improvement Program or Community Investment Program. It's basically a program where we fund all of our large infrastructure projects, things like roads being widened, intersections being improved for safety reasons. Our utilities has a lot of infrastructure, pipes and things that they have to maintain, so those are large projects. Landfill has many different capital expenditures, so the large projects at the landfill closure. So its primary purpose is to be there to help capture all of our large projects. And the definition of those large projects are any infrastructure-related expenditure over $100,000. So that's basically what is included in our CIP.
And that's 2/3 of the budget.
Yes, yeah.
Very much so.
Yep.
Well, Todd, today you're starting to look ahead. You have a staff meeting and you start thinking about actually preparing a budget booklet.
Yes.
And then you start thinking what's down the road and making projections.
Yes.
What do you see? What do the gurus in the county see for taxes and ad valorem increases for the next year or two?
Sure. We are projecting out pretty much based on a historic average. We've kind of pulled out that peak back in 07-08 and then the decline since. But if you look historically back, through the 80s and 90s even, there's a historic 3 to 4% increase. So that's what we're using at this time as our projection. Actually, for fiscal year 15-16, we're projecting 4% and then thereafter a 3% increase. So I guess you could call it just kind of a slight percentage increase on property values.
And more of a stabilization
Yes.
From the big years in the
Yes, true.
early 2000s for Polk County.
Yes.
Well, Todd, thank you very much for being my guest this morning.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Again, congratulations and thank you. October 1st is the big day when the budget actually moves into taking effect, even though it was resolved immediately yesterday that it could happen, but October 1st is a big day, so thank you, and
Thank
we
you,
look
Maya.
forward to seeing you again soon.